Every morning is an opportunity to connect with Jesus. Whether you're looking to get started or looking to grow more, DDPC is for you. Join us as we connect with Jesus together.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Daily Devotions with Pastor Chris. It's good to see you guys jumping on so quickly. Samantha, Esther, Kathy, CB, Fur, Kate, Heather, Tom. God bless all of you. Welcome. Thank you for being on. Jacqueline, Campoli. Good to see you. Melissa, Renee, Rich, Carly, Kim, John, Kimmy, Joan. Good to see all of you guys. Welcome to this Thursday edition and episode 692 of Daily Devotions with Pastor Chris. Thank you for being on. Diane and Janine, welcome, both of you. Welcome, Athena, Deb, Click, Rocco, Baldino, Elizabeth Hibbert, Tamara. God bless all of you guys. Thank you for joining on and being part of this morning's stream. So, hey, what's up, Bolero family, Esther Grantham, Rodriguez family, Sandy Ams, welcome all of you guys. God bless you. Thanks, Scott Dobler. Good to see you. Jack Leonard, nice to have you on. Diane, Daniel Lozovikas, good to have you with us. Andrew Lavish also jumping on. Good to see you. Marika, Attila, thank you guys. God bless you. Welcome all of you. God bless you. So again, this is the Thursday edition, episode 692. Beautiful, steamy, hot day here in the state of Connecticut. Thank you for all of you who are joining us from around the country. And so speaking around the country, yesterday, picked up my daughter's boyfriend, Ryan, from the airport, and he is spending some time with us this week. So you guys, many of you will get to meet him on Sunday. Nice kid. And so pray for me. And Donato, good to see you on. Donato, Thomas Jagoda, good to see you. Colette, God bless you. Hey, Anita, nice to have you on, jumping on. And so anyway, we're having a great morning so far, and I pray that you are blessed as well. We have been on a journey through the Ten Commandments, the Decalogue. We've been preaching about it on Sundays, and I've been talking a little bit about the challenge that we face in a 21st century world with a first century belief system. The Old Testament, God gives Moses the Ten Commandments, and he instructs them to follow these commands. Right? And we've talked about this in depth. And the question has been posed that since we are no longer under the law, but we're saved by grace, then do the Ten Commandments matter for today? What's up, Julie Chandler, Narda, Mary Saucier, good to see you. Rich Papsco, good to have you on, bud. Sarah Carlack with us now. Laura and Dave DeFelice, welcome, guys. Love y'all. And so I've been kind of tackling that, and we've looked at the fact that yes, the Ten Commandments as the law, right? We are not under the law anymore, but we're under grace, the grace of Jesus Christ. That's how we're saved. We can't earn our way to heaven through the law. It's impossible to uphold and to keep every law 100% of the time without failing, without sinning. Only Jesus could do that. That's why he came. And when he died on the cross, the Bible tells us that the law died with him. The law was nailed to that cross with him. He was the fulfillment of the law. And everything in the Old Testament, from all 39 books, they all are pointing to the coming Messiah. And so when you read, that's why the Old Testament's important, right? Because we need, hey, what's up, Melissa, Joe Duhamel, good to see you on. Good to see you, Sandy Downs. Thanks for being on today. Dawn Marie, good to see you today. And so that's, so to disregard the Old Testament is foolish. There's a reason why it's there. It's foundational, gives you tons of historical and archaeological context, gives you direction and to really see the struggle from beginning up to the birth of Jesus. And so all of it points to Messiah. But it is true that when Jesus came and he died on the cross for our sins, that the law died with him. And so we've been talking about that, and we've been talking about why we still value the Ten Commandments. And part of that reason, and what we talked about yesterday, was that you can look through the New Testament and you can see that Jesus reiterated 9 of the 10 commandments. And thank you, Tom, for the hello. God bless you, bud. And he reiterates. So just because the law died on the cross with Jesus, or was nailed to the cross, so to speak, doesn't mean that you now have a license to go murder and steal and covet and commit adultery. Just because Jesus forgives sin does not mean that you have a license to go sin because you got a golden coupon and God will just, I can do whatever I want and just ask for forgiveness. That's taking advantage of grace. So we talked about that. So anyway, Jesus reiterates 9 of the 10 commandments, but there's one that he does not reiterate. There's one command of the 10 that are not recapped as held to the same standard as in the original Decalogue. And so in that one is, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. It's the one commandment that is a little bit different here. And there's good reason for not repeating this commandment in the New Testament. If you remember in Mark's gospel, in Mark chapter 2, verse 27, Jesus said that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So this statement, Jesus is making this statement to Pharisees who are coming against Jesus and his disciples because they were walking through a field on the Sabbath day and they broke off some grain and they ate it. And the Pharisees claimed that this was a violation of the Sabbath, that they were working on the Sabbath. They were literally walking through a field, they picked off a head of grain, popped it in their mouth. It'd be like picking a grape or a berry, from a bush and eating it. And that was considered harvesting. And therefore, you were not to harvest on the Sabbath. You can find that in Mark chapter 2. You can find it in Matthew chapter 12. You can find it in Luke chapter 6. So the Sabbath, the purpose of the Sabbath in the Old Testament was given to the Jews, or the Jewish people, the Jewish nation, to remind them that God brought them out of the land of Egypt. It was a day in the week to just reverence that God delivered them through a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Deuteronomy 5:15. That God's, and so so he's saying, listen, you have labored, you have toiled, you have worked hard, and this day is intended to help you, not to burden you. I've been to Israel, and when I was there, the Jewish people, of course, the Jews, Jewish today, they don't adhere to Jesus as Messiah, and so they still lock on to some of these Old Testament laws, and it's very endearing because they do have such a respect for the Old Testament, the Torah. They hold it as holy and sacred, and as they should if Messiah hadn't come, and so they do hold to Shabbat. It's called Shabbat or Sabbath. And they celebrate it on Saturday. And when you go there, there's literally, as a tourist, they have Shabbat elevators and they have tourist elevators. A Shabbat elevator on Saturday, like if you go into an elevator on Saturday in Israel, it will automatically stop at every floor, because by the act of you pushing the button to go to the floor that you want to go to is work, and you're not permitted to work on Shabbat. It's a day of rest. They take this very seriously, even in today's culture. So but as a tourist, if you're not a Jew, then you can come and there's a separate elevator and you can push whatever floor you want. I thought that was crazy. But anyway, here's the thing though, the Sabbath or Shabbat was not intended to create burden on people. It was created to give them rest and to help them. That's why God formed it. Because as slaves in Egypt, their days were grueling, and the Israelites were commanded by God to take a full day of rest every week under the Mosaic law. But the Pharisees came in. The Pharisees were the religious ruling sect of the day, and they took the Mosaic law and then they added on top of it what's called the Pharisaical law, right? The law of the Pharisees. And the Pharisaical law morphed the Sabbath from a blessing to a burden because they began adding all of these restrictions that were far above and beyond what God had said. And I'm sure that they meant well. I'm sure that their intention was to level it up, to bring honor to God in the beginning. But I got to tell you, the act of picking a grain, a head of grain and munching on it as somebody walks along a field should not be considered harvesting, as the Pharisees tried to categorize it. And so the disciples had broken this law supposedly, but they had not broken God's law. They had broken the Pharisees' strict interpretation of the law. And so Jesus reminds these Pharisees of the intent of Shabbat. And so Jesus tells them, he's like, look, I'm Lord of the Sabbath. Can you imagine? He's like, I'm kind of in charge here. And what that means is he's saying, I'm in charge of the Sabbath. And I'm God, and I made the Sabbath for man, not man for the Sabbath. And so he created the Sabbath day. And so he's like, listen, you guys hold the law as sacred, but you need to understand I wrote it. I'm the one who gave it to you. I am Jesus. And so Jesus had oversight of the whole thing and how the law should be enforced. And so the Pharisees, this ticked them off. But what Jesus was trying to illustrate was that the Pharisees were adding so much burden to the law that they were overstepping the lawgiver himself. In Romans chapter 10 and verse 4, it says this. It says that Jesus Christ is the culmination of the law, so that there may be righteousness for everyone who believes. See, we rest spiritually in Jesus. We find our rest in Jesus. We we sing a lot of songs about that. I want to sit at your feet, drink the cup from your hands, lay back against you and breathe, hear your heartbeat, right? Like, this love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I mean, that whole song is talking about just resting in Jesus. And Jesus even says, come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So today, like, Jesus is the culmination. He is the culmination of the law so that we can find righteousness because we believe in him, Romans 10:4. And so as believers in Christ, being set free in Christ, we are no longer judged by whether or not we keep the Sabbath. And that's why it was left out in the New Testament. But in Colossians chapter 2, verse 16, it says this. It says, so don't let anyone condemn you for what you eat or drink, or for not celebrating certain holy days or new moon ceremonies or Sabbaths. There were certain things that they were not allowed to eat, certain things that they were not allowed to drink. Remember, they couldn't have certain kinds of meats and certain, if it chewed the cud and had the split hoof, and or if it, the blood had been drained, or if something was boiled in its own mother's milk, or there's all these rules in the law. And he's like, listen, you cannot let anybody condemn you for what you eat or drink, or because you don't celebrate the new moon ceremonies, or because you don't hold to the Sabbaths. Don't let anybody condemn you on that. Instead, we follow the Lord of the Sabbath, Jesus Christ himself. We find our rest in him, and we find rest in him every day, 7 days a week. We are filled with worship of him, thanksgiving to him, hope in him. So it's not the Sabbath that we should celebrate. Now, what we should celebrate is the first day of the week, the first fruits of our day. It's a first fruits offering, right? Giving God the best of your week, which is the very first day. And the first day of the week is Sunday. That's why our work week starts on Monday, right? And somebody's car alarm's going off. But so Sabbath is the first day of the week, and it's the day that Christ rose from the dead. Remember, the reason why we choose Sunday is because Jesus was crucified on Friday, and then on Sunday he rose again, right? So 3 days later. And in Mark chapter 16 and verse 9, it tells us, it says, when Jesus rose early on the first day of the week, he rose again on the first day of the week. He appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had driven out 7 demons. And that has significance for us as followers today and in the New Testament. We're expected to assemble together as believers on the first day of the week and to receive the Lord's Supper, to have fellowship together, to learn of his word, and to just worship. That's what Acts chapter 20 verse 7 says. It says, on the first day of the week, we came together to break bread. Paul spoke to the people, that's the preaching, and because he intended to leave the next day, he kept on talking until midnight. How many of you like it if I preached morning till midnight on Sundays? You know, we wouldn't have as many people, but that's why we have church today. So, you know, we call it the Sabbath day, and it is a day of rest from our work and our toil. But what we're doing is we're just acknowledging the Lord of the Sabbath, Jesus. He is the lawgiver. He is the one who. So when the law was like, we don't have to find our freedom in anything else any longer. Our freedom is in Jesus Christ. He is the culmination of all things. So of all the law. So all those laws that became so oppressively binding have now fallen to the wayside, and now we put all of our trust and all of our hope in Jesus. So I know that was a lot for this morning. I hope that it's helpful to you and that you find some peace and some understanding about Shabbat, or about the Sabbath in that. But the Decalogue is enormously important, and it does create those guardrails, and it is something that we should pay close attention to and study and live by, because it points us to Jesus. Everything in the Old Testament points us to Jesus, and because we know him more, we want to know more about him, and that will help out in every way. So, all right, guys, listen, I know there was a lot of chatter on here, and I couldn't address it just because I had to get through the study itself, but wonderful that you guys are so active today. So have an amazing weekend, guys. It's going to be a hot one, but try to stay cool, and we'll see you on Sunday. We're looking forward to Sunday and just being together again on our Sabbath, right? And trust and just worshiping the Lord together. So have an awesome day. This concludes this week's DDPC. So that's it, man. I will see you Sunday. Bye-bye.